Okay, so what we need to do to find our vanishing point in the eye level is two first basic pieces of information, okay? We need to know what your eye level is, and we need to know the size of something in your drawing so we can make that ratio make sense into the drawing itself, because your drawing is probably going to be either larger or smaller than it is in real life, okay? So we need to know your eye level 1. So I know you're working downstairs, but this little block right here is the same height as what it would be downstairs, okay? So you come on over for a second, and you need to just sit for a second and look at where you're going to be looking at. So are you on your knees? Are you sitting down? Is that the eye level? Okay, so if we look straight ahead, right, that's going to be the eye level. Even though you're looking down, we need to know where that eye level is here, okay, in space. So put the ruler here, and you're looking straight ahead into that ruler here. What do you think? 29? Okay, so 29 inches is going to be eye level, okay? And then, again, this block here, you need to know that piece of information for the drawing, okay? So this block here is 7 3/4 inches, okay? So those two pieces of information, the first ones we need to know for the drawing, okay? So 29 inches eye level. The height of that block in real life is 7 3/4 inches, okay? So we're going to divide that. If you're good with math, you can do it in your head. If not, I'm going to use the calculator. So 29 divided by 7.75 gives me 3.74. Okay? We don't really need to care about that measurement. We just need to make that comparison to what's going on in the drawing. Okay? So in the drawing, that block is 5.5 inches. So this drawing is smaller than it is in real life. Okay? So we're going to multiply the measurement with 3.74 multiplied times 5.5. Okay? 5.5 gives us 20.58. Okay? So we can round, because the difference between 20 and 20.58 is stretching your back up a little bit, right? So it's not a huge difference, okay? So we can call it 20 and a half, we can call it 20. We want to be right in and around that range, okay? So let's just make it easy on ourselves, and we're going to call it 20 inches. So in real life, your eye level is 29. But based on the drawing, your eye level is going to be 20 inches, okay? So it makes sense we need to find those pieces of information. Now, everybody's drawings are going to have different spots to where you're going to be looking for, okay? So this has a piece of molding here. Over here, you've got another piece of baseboard on the left side. You might be using that. You're going to be using the height of your stair. Everybody's looking for different spots, but the ruler needs to be on the ground plane based on your eye level to the ground plane, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is put the ruler here at the 5.5 inch spot, and then this string is our eye level, so we're going to slide the string up, or the board up, to 20 inches, okay? And 20 inches is right at the top of your board, okay? So that's an easy measurement, you know what that's going to be, okay? What's wrong with the way I've placed the board? It's not perpendicular to the eye level, okay? So very important that I turn the board, make it perpendicular to the eye level, okay? Now I know that the string is at the correct eye level for the proportion of the drawing, okay? Now all I need to do, the first two angles that you found in your drawing, is bring the string to the vanishing point. You've got the string here, work together, you can come over on this side here. Right on the bottom, sorry. So you want to put the string all the way across your drawing, because when we stretch it across, we want to make sure that we're covering the whole drawing, okay? So, you might need somebody to help you out there. We're going to do it, let's go right on the bottom edge. And that looks good right there, right? I should have brought that tape. Thank you. Okay, so we stretch the string over to the eye level. This tells us our finishing point. Let's make sure it's nice and straight here. Okay, I'm going to take it off at the eye level. So here's my finishing point. So now you can compare that to all the other angles that go to that same finishing point in your drawing, right? So if I move the string over to this line, that looks pretty good. If I move it up to the line here, that looks pretty good. This one on the top here, that one is a little bit higher, right? So what would I do? Would I put the string to this edge here and raise that up? Or would I put it to the middle edge here and pull that one down? Down. I think that's the best case because you've sighted and measured everything kind of in the center of the drawing, right? So if I went here to the end and move that up, that would kind of throw off my proportions of what you already sighted and measured, okay? So I'm going to line it up to the center line here. Now, if you try to put a ruler along the string, it gets wobbly, right? So I'll put a mark right here on the side of the border of the tape there, and then I'll line it up to my mark, put it over here, you can see how I'm just going to load it back, okay? This fine charcoal is kind of thick, so you want to give yourself a little bit of room with the ruler when you put the fine charcoal down, otherwise it's not going to line up in the same spot. Okay? This angle over here would go to the same one. That's very close. Okay? I'm just going to make a small adjustment there. Okay? Do you remember downstairs, did your floorboards go this way or this way? I think they go this way. But anyway, we'll make that decision later on the measurements of the floorboards there. Okay? So this would go, again, all of the same vanishing point on this side. Then we'll come with the string here. Find the other vanishing point. This side. You can see how this vanishing point is a little bit closer to the draw, and that one's a little bit farther away. In 2 point, you're rarely going to have the vanishing points at the same distance from the board. Okay? So I've lined up this to the bottom here. I'm going to check this one, very close. That bottom is just going to come down a little bit. Everything else will go to this way, okay? So if your floorboards go this way, these little marks, or little separations of the floorboards, will go to the vanishing point on this side, okay? So you got your string here, you can check everything. You're missing a couple measurements. I used you as an example beforehand. You don't really know the size of your floorboards here, but once you did, I'm going to show you how we'll do that. So if I find where the floor and that molding meet, I'm going to draw a line and extend that all the way through the drawing. This line won't be here later, but I'm going to extend that so I can use my measurements, okay? So let's say that your floorboard is this big. So if I look at the measurement on the ruler here, that's 1.5 inches, okay? Would these floorboards on this side be bigger or smaller than this one? Bigger. They're closer to you, okay? These are going to get smaller as they go away, okay? This ruler only has 1/8 of an inch, so if this was 1.5 and I came over here, I might make that 1 5/8. 1/8 inch bigger, okay? The next one, instead of 1 5/8, it's going to be 1 3/4. An 1/8 inch bigger, okay? Instead of 1 3/4, it's going to be 1 7/8. So I'm making that 1/8 of an inch bigger each time. I'm not drawing the lines because then I can bring the string to this edge, and I know everything's going to be in the correct perspective as it goes along here, okay? So these would be steeper on the bottom, flatter as they get closer to the vanishing point, or to the eye level. Okay? So that's how you're going to go about finding that. You need those two pieces of information. One, your eye level. So if I'm sitting like this, I wouldn't take my eye level here. I would sit on the ground where I was. Some of you guys, in the initial pictures you took, might have lowered your camera down. So if that's the case, then I need to be drawing lower down like this, right? So your eye level needs to be in relation to the initial thumbnail sketch that you have. Okay? So that's how you'll go about starting to get your vanishing points and everything worked out. To talk a little bit about value. So I've got some paper here. I've got my pink pearl eraser and my compressed charcoal sticks. All right, I'm going to fold over the paper towel here to make kind of a flat pad. Okay, I'm not crumpling it up. Okay. Then I'm going to take that, rub it on the paper here some so I get some charcoal on the surface. That way, when I come in here, I can wipe out those mistakes and things that I had on. Okay. Now, we need to make a decision down there in the building. What is lighter and what's darker? So the light's kind of coming from the window, but then there's light coming from this side too. Do you remember if this side or this side was lighter or darker? I'm going to guess that this side's lighter because the light's kind of coming from here, depending on the sunny day. Okay? We'll change this later when we go downstairs. All right, so if I'm going to check to make sure that my verticals are straight up and down, if I line up the paper to the edge of the tape, into your lines here, you're really pretty close to being straight, which is good. This is 90 degrees, right? So I can double check my verticals to make sure they're all straight up and down, that they're not angling one side or the other, okay? So the line that you made here, I'm going to come and bring the paper to the edge of that. I want to show the line. Because if I cover the line when I erase away, I'm still going to have the line on the other side. So I want to show the line because I want to take that away. I'm going to spread my fingers apart here. I'm going to use the tip edge of the pink pearl eraser there, working at a pretty good hand pressure right along the edge of the tape. okay? Then I'm going to hold the eraser flat and start bringing out a bigger area, okay? So I don't want to do this because that's texture that I don't really want in the drawing, okay? So I'm holding it flat, trying to bring out a local value here, okay? Now I can put another piece of paper along this edge, on this side, and then if I erase to the corner there, I'm going to have a nice clean edge to my corner. Okay? What I like to do is use these little eraser pieces that I have and blend those together so I can make even a smoother transition of value there, okay? I want to make all the initial values in my drawing smooth, then come back and put in my surface textures. Because if I put a bunch of great texture in there and it's too light, I'm going to need to add charcoal and I'm going to lose my texture. If it's not dark enough or light enough, then I need to make sure that that's correct, okay? So then I take that away and I've got a nice clean edge to the side of that molding without the use of a line, right? So there are not going to be any lines in your drawing other than the lines that maybe separate the floorboards. Sometimes there's some cracked or peeling paint, and so you'll come in with a charcoal pencil and maybe make some of those edges, okay? So I'm getting a local value in here between the mid-tone of the paper and then the lighter area. So I've erased this, but still, if I come with a heavier hand pressure, you can see how that's not even close to 100% white yet. That's more in the 70% range, okay? So what I suggest is coming first, using your eraser, starting to bring out some of the highlight areas before you put in dark color, because you're going to find a lot of spots in here aren't really darker than the tone of the paper, okay? The molding that's on top of here, it's got a couple edges to it. So if I come in here with the eraser, kind of erase along the top here, blend a little bit of that away. I've got a nice sharp edge on the top, but then there's a shadow value that's kind of underneath it. So if I bring the paper again, so I'm really drawing with the eraser rather than drawing with the, so I've got a nice edge there between a highlight on the top and a shadow value and a highlight again, okay? So I'm letting the tone of the paper be my shadow value in the beginning, then if I need to come back darker, I can push it over to dark, okay? So using the paper as a mask, erasing out first, okay? Then working in textures. Okay? So I'll be up here and we'll help you guys work these things out, all right? But you need to find those two pieces of information first, your eye level and then the height of something in your drawing, okay? So you're going to need to find the distance from the floor